So hello folks, in this video we are going to start with the HTML part. Since I've already given a basic overview of what is HTML, CSS and JavaScript in my first video, if you haven't seen the video, just go and see my first video where I have described how the internet really works. And in the end, I have described what is the need of HTML, CSS and JavaScript in the web environment, like in our web development basically. So here we are starting. That is very needed for starting the web development part, right? So in this video, I'm starting with the HTML part. So let's start. So I've created an empty folder which is called tutorials. I'll open it in the VS Code new terminal at folder code dot which will open the VS Code for me. And this is index.html. I'll start from scratch with you guys. Now I'll write HTML5. So this is a shorthand for creating an HTML template. So this will create an HTML template for me. But we'll simply go ahead with the introduction of why these things are needed. So guys, like this is doc type HTML, which is something legacy. So you have to put this on the top of HTML file. Now this part is the opening tag of HTML. So the lang is equals to en, which is nothing but the English language. So this represents that the site is currently in English language. This will be more useful when people when the developer wants to implement internationalization. Yeah, this is what it is called in his video, like in his website. So this will change accordingly. So for example, if you have given a drop down which allows your user to simply switch between languages, for example, if your site is providing 10 different languages like English, Spanish, Italian, Hindi, and other stuff, so you can switch between those, and this will change dynamically. So this is more useful there. Now the next part is the head. So head contains some basic information about the website. For example, this is meta. This is a UTF-8 encoding, which is related to the characters part. Like there are a lot of characters which UTF-8 supports, basically. And the next is this part. This is very important because this makes the site responsive. Actually, as you can see, this is related to viewport. The width equals to the device width, and then this is for zooming, like the initial zooming of the website, which you can currently which you we usually see, like its default initially 1.0. And the next part is the title. So this is the title of your website. For example, this can be my web app. This is basically the title, which is contained in the head tag. Now, this is the main part. You won't be touching any of this. You are only going to work entirely into the body tag. And for some stuff, like for learning few things for now in the head tag. But once we start learning React, you don't need to touch any of the stuff. We will be only working in the body. So for example, I have written hello world again here, hello world. And then I'll have to maximize it. And then I'll click on the live server. Starting, started the app on the 5500 slash index.html, and you can see hello world is here. Right now, one thing to notice here is I have changed the title of this app. Like as you can see, this is a web app. Yeah, this is my web app. So if I go back again and this, I'll change something here. For example, uh, this is like Chartflex, the name of the app, Chartflex, and it will update in real time. Chartflex, right? So the next part can be okay. Let's move ahead. Okay. So the thing to know is basically I'll start writing the comments, which will be very useful once you write, well, like once you start with the better code, I like better coding. Because commenting is something which you need always, like when you start working with a lot of developers, right? So we'll start writing comment first. So first thing is we'll learn about the section, right? The section part. So let's start. Section is an HTML tag where you can write where you can, for example, you are starting a new section. For example, this section is basically section for the user drop, like user, what I can say, authentication, maybe authentication. Yeah, so this section is basically for the user authentication. So this section tag is basically needed when when you are starting a new section, for example, into one of your files. So I'll write some code here. I'll write lorem 12. So guys, this is also shorthand where you can generate some random text, writing lorem and then the number of text you want basically. So I'll save it, I'll go again, and you can see these things have been updated, right? So the first thing is section. The next thing which I'll be touching basically is heading tag in the HTML. So once you are like, if you have seen any of the apps, you will see there is a heading. I can open any of the site for you, for example, Cloud Pulse. So this site has been made by me actually. So I have created this entire web application where you can upload the files like you have to first log in and then upload files. But I'm not here to show this web app. Anyways, like this is the header part. This is the head bar of any app. So this is something here we need the heading. Like this is a convention that you start with the heading tag heading to create on your header. So heading, this is my header. Maybe this is my header. So heading, this is my header. Right. Now, as you can see that these things are getting like almost like overlapping on each other, right? So what you can do basically is you can create one more tag here, which is called BR. It's self-closing. So this is called, guys, self-closing. These things you're going to see a lot in React. So like just keep it in your mind that this is a self-closing thing, right? So this is a BR tag. So BR tag is for a line break. Line break. Okay. So as you can see, it has given an extra line, but the main use of this BR case which you need to use actually is this way. For example, this is a longer text and you want a break after a full stop, for example, here. Sorry, okay. Yeah, so I'll write BR and then self-closing. And as you can see, what do you expect to see in the website? It will break the line of after the full stop. As you can see, this has broken the line after the full stop into the next line. So the BR tag is more used in such cases where you need a line break in your app. Right, so we're done with the BR tag. There is also one more thing. I'll go back to there. Yeah, BR. This is for, I'll just put some extra spaces so that it doesn't look a messy file. The next is a horizontal line, right? So how do we represent a horizontal a line? I'll write HR tag is for a horizontal line. Put an HR tag here. It is also set closing tag. Now, what you will notice in the app is basically you will see a horizontal line on your web app. So we have covered section, heading, BR tag, HR tag, right? I hope you've already understood these tags. And the next part is going to be a paragraph. Paragraph, paragraph, like P tag. The paragraph is basically needed, like when you have a text, when you want to show some text into the div or whatever, right? So for example, okay, I haven't touched the div yet. Okay, so for before like the paragraph, we need to touch the div, right? So the div is basically, for example, if you are like creating a container, for example, you want a div. I don't know if I can show you. Let me open draw.io for you guys. Draw.io. Open a new diagram, blank diagram. Yes. Okay, it's taking some time, guys. Okay. Anyways, so okay. No, no, no. Okay. Anyways, so for example, this is a container. Take it as a container. You can understand this as a container. I'll write out in the outside text. Okay. So this is a container basically. Container. I'll increase the size so that you can see heading one. Okay. So this is a container, right? So what you need to understand here is in container, like when we are creating a new container, and inside this there can be different things. For example, if you're containing a container where which has basically a form, Right, I'll touch later in this video what is form and all this like related stuff with the form. But for now, understand that this is a div. The outer part is called consider this as a container, right? So this is a div, and inside that we can have certain elements like, okay, I'm not very good at drawing, guys, so please forgive me for that. So here, for example, you have something called how can I say that? Okay, so for example, suppose I'll show you in a more greater way. I'm not able to take this. Okay, so for example, this is a header of my app. Header of my app, right? This is the header of my app, and this is the first text, maybe like hello or maybe welcome to my app, bold. And here you have two buttons, for example, the first button and the second button. This is for the sign up and this is for the login. So why I'm showing these things to you so that you can understand like how the tags are being used and how you should use actually the tag. This is for the login. So for example, this outer part can the first can be there is one more thing to be taken care of. Okay. No. Okay. Yeah, so this outer part, first you can create a section. For example, consider that before even this container, you can have a section. And inside that specific section, you can have a container, which is nothing but a div. Now, this div is containing a header, which can be like created by heading. And inside that heading also, you have to create like div, p, and all the stuff. We'll definitely cover all the stuff in this video, in the latter part of this video. But this is a div, this is a header, and inside that, like below that header, we have welcome to my app. But like since you can see, like we have a lot of spacings and all this stuff. So this can be an element inside the container, inside your div. This can be a paragraph, this can be a button, this can be a button. So I think you guys already have an understanding of like how these things are working. Let's jump back into our VS Code. So where we were like, okay, so I think you guys know now what is a div. Now I'll create a div. Now this is the first div of my web app, right? So this is a div tag which I've used. Let's see. This is the first div of my web app. Great. Now, since like if we want to create a longer text, for example, lorem 23. So this has generated a random 23 letter text for me. But now this is not a good way or better way to represent your text. What you can instead do is you can create a p tag. P tag is basically for creating a paragraph. I think I have written here, but I didn't show you guys. P tag is basically for showing text. It contains text basically. I'll got it here. I'll write p tag. P tag, this is div tag. Guys, just remember to always put comments whenever you are writing code. This is very, very important. So this is a div tag. So this is a div tag. So like we are done with the section, div, paragraph, br tag, hr tag. There is one more thing which I'd like to show you, which is let's start with few stuff like h1. So H1 is basically used when you want your text to look a bit bigger, like the largest of one is H1. So let's say this is my header. I'll write few more things. Okay, want to create it in a single line. H1. This is my header. Control C. You can click Command C for Windows or Control C at the end of the line to copy the entire thing and then paste on the next line. Yeah, H1. Yeah. So this is H1. This is H2. You can also do one more thing, but like let's move ahead for now. H1, this is H2, this is H3. I'll show you a few like shortcuts later in this video, but for now, just bear with me. H4, this is H5, sorry, H5, H6, H6, this is my header. So as you can see, the H1 is the largest of all. Then we have H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6, H6 basically. So these are the things you can write like for example, if you have like this is used for the main title of like welcome to my app. If you have seen any web app, think of it like they are using the H1 tag for the bigger heading, and then for the subtitles you can use maybe H3 or H4, whatever you want. So this is pretty much it for the basics of HTML. And then we are going to dive deeper into the HTML in the next video. Up until then, happy coding, guys. I'll see you again.